Hello, friends, and Happy New Year. I hope you all had a wonderful holiday season and that you had a safe New Year's Eve and all of that yesterday and New Year's Day, and you're ready to get back in your craft room. So, I am finally back in my craft room. We did a lot of traveling over the holidays, and it's great to be back at my desk and coloring and making things out of pretty paper because that's what I just love to do. So, if you love that too, let's go ahead and get started on today's project, which we are going to make some Valentine treat boxes because it's never too early to start on your treats that you want to make for family and friends for holidays. So, let's go ahead and get started. So, like I said, we're going to make some treat boxes, and we're going to use this Peekaboo treat box die that Whimsy came out with earlier, well, actually I should say late last year, because this year just started, right? So this was, you saw a lot of them being used around Halloween time. But they're great for all kinds of holidays. I didn't make any Christmas ones, but they would have been great for some Christmas treats. But I am going to make some for my coffee group that I meet with, some little treat boxes with Valentines. So the other products that I'm using, I'm going to be using the rainbow paper pad because one of the sides they have in a rainbow of colors, little hearts on the paper. So I thought that would be perfect for Valentine's Day. I'm going to be using an image from the Piggies Crushed It, and I'm going to be using the balloon one, and I'm also using the coordinating die. I'm going to use the sloth moments because I just love this little sloth right here with the balloon and the present and the coordinating die. And I'm also going to be using this little candy mouse because I wanted to use the You're So Sweet. That is going to be my sentiment for my little boxes. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. We're going to begin with doing just a little bit of die cutting. And I want you to see how quick and easy these come together. So when you get your die, this little piece right here, that is your top flap. That's what does your lid. So if you're using a piece of paper that is directional, you want to make sure when you put it on your paper that you have this going right side up. Because if you do it like this, your hearts are going to be upside down on your box. So that's just something to think about when you're getting started. And of course, if you're using a piece of paper where it doesn't matter, like a solid piece or, you know, a pattern that it doesn't have a right side up and an upside down, then of course it doesn't matter. But if you do have one with a direction, you'll want to pay attention to that. So we're going to run this through real quickly. And I am going to go ahead and put in my little peekaboo part. And I'm going to use the oval for this one. You can grab another piece of tape. And when you're positioning whatever your peekaboo, any of these dies here that come with it can be used for the peekaboo. You don't want to have it too high up. You want to make sure you keep it in the lower 2/3 of this open section. And that's just so that if you get it too high up, then you're in the part that comes together where you can't really fill it. So if you want your candy to show, you have to kind of keep that a little bit lower down. So I'm going to run this through my die machine. And then we'll get started on some coloring. So if you're there with me, do say hello. I would love to chat with you while we craft. I'd also love to know what you did for New Year's. Did you have any fun? Did you go out and celebrate or get together with family to celebrate? I'm afraid I did not get to celebrate. We traveled to Indiana, and my family had just several things happen where I ended up having to drive back. So I spent New Year's Day driving from Indiana to Texas. So that pretty much took the whole day. So that's what I did. All right. Now, my die machine is a 6-inch opening, and that 6-inch opening, my shim is only about 5 3/4. So often the edge does not get over to where the shim meets. So that is why I have to trim this. If you have like a 12-inch opening, you won't have to do that. Or if your shim is wide enough. But I almost always have to trim one edge. All right, before we move on, let's go ahead and finish getting our treat boxes ready. I'm going to take a piece of double-sided adhesive, and right over here on this one little flap, I'm going to go ahead and add a piece of double-sided adhesive. I'm also going to turn it over, and right here around my Peekaboo, I'm going to put some more double-sided adhesive. Now, when you're doing your adhesive, you do want to pay attention to where your fold lines are. And you want to make sure that your, whatever you're going to use here stays within the 2 fold lines here. And the fold lines pretty much go the same width as this lid right here. So that can kind of help you. Sometimes it can be a little hard to see them depending on the pattern paper you're using. There we go. All right, now we'll put these together after we do a little bit of coloring. And I will definitely have to put my glasses on for coloring. All right. So I've picked a few Copic markers that I'm going to be using. And I'm going to start with E50 and E53. I'm just going to be doing some simple coloring today to color up our images. Oops. All right. And I'm going to go ahead and color all of his little toenails and fingernails, this E53, and the little pads on his feet. There we go. All right, that makes me done with those. For his body, I'm going to be using W0, W2, and W3. And I'm going to start with my darkest color and just go around where I think the darkest shadows are going to be. The little lines that have already been drawn for his fur, I'm going to go ahead and trace those with my darkest color. I'll go ahead and get right here under his chin. We'll get that with the darkest color. Maybe around here on the sides of his face. And then up here, I'm just going to trace those little lines that they've already drawn in. Maybe right over here on the far side of his feet as well. We'll put a little bit of the darkest color. Now, wherever I put the E or the W3, I'm going to go back with the W2 and fill that in. Oops. Forgot his arm over here. And now I'm just going to use my lightest W0, and actually it's the W00. Okay, yeah, it looks like that's what I have, so that's what we're going to use. And just color in, go over everything else and fill that in. And then I'm going to come back with my darkest color one more time, just to add all those little hairs that are drawn in. I'm just going to retrace those to kind of make them just a tad darker. All right. All right, so for my balloon and my present, I'm going to be using R39 and R29. To begin, I'm just going to take my darkest, the R39. I'm going to go ahead and just trace a dark edge over here on my balloon, just like that. And then I'm going to go over it with my R29. Now I'm going to go ahead and color in the rest of my balloon with the R29. Now there are definitely more difficult ways that you can choose to color a balloon, but I'm just doing some simple coloring today. Now I'm going to put my original, the R39, and I'm just going to flick out towards the center. And as I go towards the top and bottom, I'm going to flick out less. That's how I'm going to do my balloon. I'll hold that up so you can see. Okay. Now for the present, I'm just going to go ahead and color that red. See, for the bow, let's see, what did I use for the bow? I used RV17 and RV63, and these are not normally colors that I would use together, but one of my markers had, I don't know, just gone completely dry. You know how that happens with Copics sometimes. So these are the two I'm going to use today. So I colored in my darkest areas, and now I'm just going to fill it in with my lighter marker, making sure I go over and trace, you know, go over the top of what I already laid down, just to kind of blend that out. Okay, the final thing that I'm going to do for, well, actually not the complete final, I'm going to use the C3 to go ahead and color his little designs that go around his eyes, and I'm going to color in his nose. I'm going to take the C2 and kind of do right there in the center. And now the very final thing will be my YG13, and I'm just going to trace right around his eye on one side to give him some green eyes. Now, one thing I like to do with images when I've stamped them is I like to take a black marker and kind of go over their eyes. I think that just makes their eyes pop a little bit, and so just whatever ink I used, I'm just going over that ink. All right, he is all done and ready to die cut. So let's go ahead and do our little pig here. I'm going to use the same two colors for his balloon. And same thing, I'm going to do it the exact same way. Going over that edge, and then fill it in. My little pig is much easier than the sloth. He only has a few colors. And now we'll flick towards the center. Now for my pig's body, I'm going to be using RV13 and RV11. So every place that I think will have shadow, I'm going to trace very lightly with the RV13. I'm also going ahead and I'm coloring his hooves. I'm going to go ahead and color his tail. Put some shadow here under his snout and over the top of his snout. And right here at the base of his ears and at the tip of his ears. One thing that I need to do here in the beginning of the new year is to kind of work on cleaning up my markers and getting them all refilled and just in good working order. I found when I sat down to color, I had several that needed attention. So, all right, now I'm just going to take this RV11, go over all the edges here. So once I've kind of gone over the edges of the RV13, now I'm just going to go ahead and fill it in. Still using my same RV11. And I'm going to have the top of his snout to be this RV11, but I only want the ink to go over it one time, not two times. So I'm just going to, so I want that to be the lightest part. Okay, so around his snout here, I'm going to go around this a second time, but not on his snout. All right, he's all done. So the only thing left is his little scarf, and I'm going to go ahead and do that in the same colors as the balloon. All right, and the very final thing, I'm going to take my E50 and just add some color to the inside of his ear, just so that's not stark white. Okay, it looks like I missed one little spot, so I'll go back and do that right over here. There we go. All right, let's go ahead. That's done with coloring. I'll die cut these real quick, and we'll be ready to put our treat boxes together. Get those lined up. So did anyone set any goals for their new year? I'm still kind of thinking about mine. I thought maybe I'd set some goals for myself in my crafting to finish projects that were started in 2024 maybe. That's always a good one. Let's go ahead and run this through the die cut machine, and we'll put our treat boxes together. One thing I love about this treat box is that it is so easy to mass produce. You really can, you know, make a lot of these and have them ready to go, and then just do your images as you need them. A friend of mine's grandson was having a birthday, and because I had some of these die cut and ready to go, I was able to very quickly just, I actually made like a little robot image that I have, and I put together a little birthday treat for him, filled it with M&Ms, and he was surprised to have a little birthday treat when I met him and his grandma. So let's go. All right. right, so we have our two little images here. And the next thing we're going to do is add our acetate. So I have cut a couple pieces of acetate, and I made sure they were no wider than our little lid right here. So I know that's hard for you to see. No, yeah, it's just hard to see, but they're a little wider than an inch. And we are going to place those right over the windows. And again, you just need to make sure that your acetate is inside the fold lines so that it doesn't get in the way when you get ready to fold your treat box. I'll go ahead and do the same over here. The fold lines are being a little hard to see on this one. Alright, so now I'm just going to fold all the flaps. The die puts all of these fold lines in there for you, so it's very easy. Go ahead and do the bottom flaps as well. And I'm just using my finger to burnish these. Alright, so I've basically folded everything except the little triangles here on the side, and I'll show you how I'm going to do those in just a moment. So now I'm going to remove my tape here, and when I bring this together, I'm keeping my thumb right here at the edge so that I can keep that from going too far. And hopefully we do it correctly. There we go. Now I'm going to come down here on this end. I haven't let that go down yet. Alright. And then once I have it like that, I can just go ahead and put this down and then burnish it like this. And that helps get a nice square, you know, we're all tidy. So, alright, now to do the bottom, you just poke those two sides in, bring this piece down, and then just tuck that inside. There you go, just like that, kind of like a milk carton. All right, so before I go any further, let's go ahead and add some candy. I'm using some red and pink, what are these called? Starbursts. Is that what they're called? Yeah, Starburst fruit chews, that's what they're called. All right, we're just gonna go ahead and put all those in there. And you just don't want to go too much above this line right here, because that will hamper the closing of it if it goes above that. So you can see the little treats through the window. Now to finish this, I'm going to put my fingers right here on the two triangles and push in. And at the same time, my fingers on the top, I'm going to press down. And that's going to let me fold that over, and then that just tucks right in. Easy peasy, no problem. Now, let's go ahead and do this one. Same thing. When you make a lot of these, you'll find you get really fast at putting them together. Another way of putting it to get it straight is you can set this down along your table. Go ahead and fold that up, and then bring this piece down so that it meets the table. And then that too will help you get it nice and straight. And when you're mass producing, that's kind of a fast way to go. So, all right, fold. Sorry, I didn't pre-burnish these down, so go like that, and tuck it in, and there you go. They're so easy. Now for this one, I have some little gummy lifesavers that I'm going to put inside. Again, I chose the ones in Valentine colors. And again, I'm just gonna press in and push down at the same time. Then fold over the top. Whoops, dropped it. Fold over the top and click the lid in. Very fast and easy. All right, now to finish decorating them up. So the one thing that I did in advance is I stamped the You're So Sweet, and then in the Peekaboo treat box set I have these two dies. When you cut this die out, it leaves the dotted lines. So if you want to use it here as your Peekaboo and you're using solid paper, it'll leave that nice design of the stitching around your circle. But if all you're needing is the inside part, then you don't get the stitching. But I did use this piece to make myself a little scalloped piece to go on my sentiment. So let's go ahead and cut one more. I thought I had enough cut, but it looks like I only have one, so no problem. Looks like I'm having a warning over here on my computer screen. Let me know if there's any kind of problems and if you're not seeing or hearing or anything. It's giving me a warning about the stream. So do let me know if there's an issue. All right, now I decided to add these to my treat boxes. I'm going to use just a little bit of foam tape. See what I did with it over there. It is. Here we go. So I'm going to use just a few pieces of foam tape. And I'm going to offset these and tilt them just a little bit. Go. And now add some foam here to the back of my images. Oops. Let's see, which one do I want? Oh, I think I like them this way. I like the pink on the purple. Okay. And when I added my images, I just tried to lower them down so it kind of grounds them on the bottom there. But a little of it does hang off to one side because I didn't want to cover up all of my candy. And this little guy, I'm going to put him over to one side here. There we go. He covers up a little bit more of the candy, but there we go. Now, one thing, I don't know if you can see on the thing, but I did come back with a little bit of Winkastella there and add some glitter to my, to the balloons, just to add some shine. Where did I put that? It's right over here. There it is. All right, so love Winkastella to give just a little bit of sparkle. I like to go over it a few times. And there we go. Some Valentine treat boxes all ready to go. Love it when I'm ahead of things. Let's go ahead and switch our camera back. Thanks so much for joining me today. If you are interested in the Whimsy Stamps Peekaboo treat box or any of the other products that I used today, there are links below the video. And I look forward to creating with you again next Thursday. We've got some really fun projects coming up, so I hope you'll join me. All right, have a great day, and I'll see you next week. Bye-bye.